This is Ghoulies on your 31 spooky movies of Halloween. Released in 1985, Ghoulies was directed by Luca Bercovici and stars a gang of slimy little Muppet things that somehow stole the spotlight without really doing much of anything. If you've ever seen the VHS cover, that little green demon thing grinning from a toilet, then you've probably been led to believe that this is some kind of wild, creature-filled horror comedy in the spirit of Gremlins or Critters, and you would not be more wrong. If you actually sit down and watch it, you quickly realize that is not the movie you are getting at all. The story actually follows a college student named Jonathan Graves, who inherits his late father's old mansion. And because apparently no one in horror movies has ever seen another horror movie, he immediately decides to move in, start poking around the basement, and discovers a bunch of his dad's satanic artifacts, which includes candles, skull, and the warning signs of a very bad idea. Basically, it looks like his dad went shopping at the clearance aisle of Spirit Halloween, as Satanists did in the 1980s. Naturally, he decides to try a few rituals for fun because, that kind of fun that involves Latin chants and summoning things from the underworld is always a good idea and always leads to a happily ever after. Plus, he's trying to get his mom back or something. I don't know. But you know what? Turns out he's good at it. So good, as a matter of fact, he ends up awakening his dear old dad's evil zombie corpse, who wants to come back from the dead by taking over Jonathan's body. There is dark magic, possession, and even a couple of little tiny goblin minions that look like they crawled out of a melted pizza box. And oh yeah, the Ghoulies. The Ghoulies are there too. That's their involvement. They're just there. Here's where things get weird. Ghoulies doesn't seem to know what kind of movie it wants to be. If you went in blind, it plays like a serious occult horror film. Moody lighting, creepy chants, glowing eyes, the works. But if you look at the poster or the marketing, you would think it's a goofy monster movie about little demons wreaking havoc in bathrooms. The truth is, somewhere in the middle, the movie just decided halfway to be something else in the marketing other than what it was in the theater. I don't know, but The Ghoulies themselves, those slimy Muppets that became the film's entire marketing campaign, well, they're there, but they don't do anything. They're like the garnish on a dish that forgot to include the main course. You spend the whole movie waiting for the chaos, and what you get is a soap opera about Satanism and a side of rubber monsters. And then there are the little people. Out of nowhere, two tiny humanoid servants just kind of show up to help Jonathan perform rituals. I don't really think it's ever explained who they are or where they came from. They're just there, hanging around like they wandered from the set of Willow and decided to stick around for snacks. You serve me now! I don't even know who you are, buddy. To make things worse, the tone is all over the place. One scene looks like it's trying to be The Exorcist, and the next feels like an episode of Fraggle Rock directed by someone who's never been sober. The special effects are gloriously cheap, the sets look like they were rented out by the hour, and the satanic contact lenses. Oh, those poor contact lenses. Those poor actors look so cross-eyed in some scenes that you can't help but laugh. And laughter kills whatever tension this movie was trying to, let's just say, unsuccessfully build. Now that being said, I don't hate Ghoulies, not even a little. It's bizarre, it's confused, and it's cheap, but so am I. It's also weirdly charming, just like me. You can feel that there's a real movie buried in there somewhere, a darker, more atmospheric story about inherited evil and temptation, but the studio clearly panicked and said, "Hey, Gremlins made some money! Let's add puppets!" And poof. Any sense of identity the film might have had was sacrificed on the satanic altar of marketing. Still, even with all of that, Ghoulies has that unmistakable 1980s sincerity. Everyone involved is trying their hardest to make this thing work, even when it's clearly not working. It's a film that trips over its own ambition and face plants into absurdity, and yet somehow still gets up grinning, blood running from its mouth and missing 3 teeth. If it had just leaned into the ridiculousness, if it had embraced being funny and self-aware, this could have been an easy cult classic on purpose instead of by accident. As it stands, it's one of those movies that's fun to watch because of its flaws. You'll laugh at it, you'll shake your head, and somehow appreciate the effort. But it is a mess. Good Lord, this movie is a mess. Now, since this review is running kind of short, let's talk about some completely true and definitely not made up trivia about the film Ghoulies, 1985. The toilet ghoulie on the poster was allergic to porcelain and had to be replaced halfway through filming. The Latin chants in the movie roughly translate to "Please, someone, give us a bigger budget." The puppets reportedly unionized after they found out they were getting more close-ups than the human actors. And that's fair. So yeah, Ghoulies is not a great movie. It's not even a good movie, but it is a movie that exists in this weird little pocket of 1980s horror where ambition and confusion go to hang out together. And if you go in expecting Gremlins, you're going to be disappointed. But if you go in expecting a goofy, over-serious, low-budget, accidentally hilarious ride through satanic suburbia with a few giggles along the way, you're going to have a good time. And that is why you should make Ghoulies one of your 31 spooky movies of Halloween. I have seen this video cover in stores and on streaming literally almost every day of my life since the 1980s, and I have never looked at this movie, just because I did think it was like a shameless Gremlins ripoff. And now that I've seen it, well, I would like to say that I'm glad, but it's definitely a movie that exists. It's got its charms, but I think I could have died happy never having watched Ghoulies. And that's funny because I've seen the sequel. I saw the sequel before the original. This was the first time I saw the original. I saw the sequel way long time ago, and I remember liking the sequel. So I guess I'm gonna have to put that on next year's list. Yay?